Sometimes we're standing right in front of a door that is ready to be opened with a key that you already have, but you think that you need to find it in a book somewhere. Like most of my clients have been studying and doing personal healing for 5, 10, 15, 20, even 30 years. But the real masters move beyond the modality. When we collect understanding through actually living, it's like the book is inside of you. There's so many opportunities for learning, and if you miss the learning, life will show you. Welcome to the Worth It podcast. I'm Megan Taylor, coach for the brilliant minds and the rare ones who are always growing. I have helped ambitious women and men, business owners and leaders from around the world with defining and expanding their unique work, having the relationship that they actually want, and creating the life that makes all of the work feel worth it. Every week on the podcast, we discuss the key pivots that I coach my clients on and the real work required in order to be a leader and the woman or the man that you're here to be. With that, let's get started. Hi, love. Welcome back to the podcast. My mentor has challenged me about saying the things that I feel uncomfortable talking about. So today I'm going to be talking about something that's been very personal to my own journey, an uncovering that took me a while to realize. So something that I found for myself when I first started doing this next round of the deep inner work was that I was so full of the things that I thought that I needed to be doing in order to heal, in order to be my best self. Because like many of my clients, I have been super involved in my own personal growth and personal development and high self and the healing journey, that it actually reached a point where it was slowing me down. And so the name of today's podcast is Your Healing Journey is Slowing You Down. And if you are somebody who is a leader, who is here to be high performance, who is here to do the unthinkable, the incredible, who wants it all, who wants the thriving marriage, the thriving family, thriving health, to make an impact in the world through your work. You want to be a good man, you want to be a good woman, you want to do it all. Well, we all know that a part of that involves healing, involves wholeness, involves coming home to self, involves looking at where you've come from and where you're being invited. And that's what I'm here to do. And that's what you're here to do. And that's why we're all here, right? We're here to create the life that makes all of the work feel worth it. The strange thing, though, is there comes a point where you have consumed so much freaking content, courses, books, mentors, all swimming in your head, that you can't hear yourself think. And, for me, it's like I reached a point in my journey where there was no room for me to think, to hear my own voice. But also I was slowed down because every time I uncovered something new that needed to be healed, I was like, oh, great. Well, I can't raise my prices because I need to go back to my ancestral line and, solve my money mindset issues. Or, I need to consult my human design and see, well, is this really how I'm meant to be doing work and business? And I need to consult my gene keys to find out what my higher purpose is. And here's the thing, I am not knocking these modalities. But the problem is that when we use these things that are meant to be tools for self-reflection and we start outsourcing our power to these things, we do the same thing with the Bible. We can do the same thing with plant medicine. We can do the same thing even with, different psychological or even somatic therapies that are designed to help with, overcoming past traumas and things like this. They are helpful up to a point. I have studied many different modalities, and so have my clients. Most of my clients have been studying and doing personal healing for 5, 10, 15, 20, even 30 years. You're no stranger to it. But the real masters move beyond the modality. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. You need to recognize the point at which you are slowing yourself down because you believe that you can't have what you want until you heal. And while there is a part of that that's about personal responsibility and cleaning up your stuff, there's another part of it that can actually become self-sabotaging. And so oftentimes when I work with my clients, we have to actually empty you out of everything that you think that you know so that you can find out what's actually true now. And I find this even to be common with things like coaches who, think that you have to be perfectly healed and on the other side of everything in order to help people. And while it is true that you need to have done the inner work, it's like you think that just because you have a flaw, that that means that you're not a good person. It's like, welcome to life. We have to remember that the journey is long and to be humble about the fact that we're still, we're like spiritual beings having a human experience. A huge part of how I've found healing has been in letting go of the modalities, of looking outside of myself for answers, and to be with a mentor who could sit with me long enough to help me empty out and say, I don't care what this says. I don't care what that says. I don't care what this says. What do you think? What do you want? We get so full of ideas, even things like corporate culture, the ideas of how we're supposed to do business, and all the corporate lingo. A lot of my corporate clients are so full of corporate lingo. And we have to say, corporate, it matters, but also there is there's a culture, there's a profit culture there. And we have to ask, how do you fit into that when it comes to your higher purpose? Same thing with even like the coaches that I work with. Yes, there is a coach culture, but what is your opinion? What is your place inside of that? What is your unique voice? What do you have to say? And because it's scary to stand out, people will tend to look for answers in books, in different modalities, with the idea, if I can just perfectly align to this modality, even things like Wim Hof method, right? Wim Hof method, incredibly valuable resource. Yes, breath work is so powerful. But if we're waking up every day feeling like the only way we can show up as a valuable mother or a valuable father or be able to be the best leader is if I wake up and I do my Andrew Huberman looking at the sunlight and do the cold shower, and then I do my Wim Hof, and then I spend the next hour journaling about all of my limitations. And it's like, God, it's just so much in the way of just living. And if you actually let life teach you, we're all born with the right to thrive. And if you take the time to work with somebody like myself in tracing back the lines of your life and looking at the lessons that you've collected, or as my love says, the keys that you've needed to collect to unlock the doors that you're here to unlock now. Sometimes we're standing right in front of a door that is ready to be opened with a key that you already have, but you think that you need to find it in a book somewhere, as if it's not already given to you. You will find people all over the world who are walking the principles that Jesus taught in the Bible without ever having picked up a Bible. And I'm one of them. I admire Jesus as a teacher, but me personally, I love looking at scripture here and there. I love hearing about the different stories. It's a great window and a great insight into good living and values and principles and lessons. But I'm not about to go consult the Bible every time I'm about to have a conversation with my partner, because that outsources my wisdom. Wisdom is meant to be collected, like know thyself. When we collect understanding through actually living, it's like the book is inside of you. I just want to share with you because I see so many of my talented clients, leaders who are out here trying to make an impact in the world, trying to be good husbands and wives, wanting to be the mothers and fathers that they want to be, and also not wanting to abandon themselves in the process, wanting to live a life that is deeply fulfilling and rich for you. We have to remember that when we go and we search for answers in these different tools, that we need to come back and actually put them into practice and not keep outsourcing and delegating our power to our mentors or to these books or to these modalities with the thought that I am imperfect, I am flawed, and the only way for me to proceed forward is to heal and fix everything. You can heal as you take your business to the next level. You can heal. Do you know how much healing I get through the process of simply expressing myself on this podcast and doing it messy? There's so many opportunities for learning. And if you miss the learning, life will show you. Like, life is intelligent. You are intelligent. And if you look back and trace the lines of your life, you will see the lessons that you needed to learn. You don't need to perfectly understand what your ancestors went through in order for you to heal. It's in you. And if you look at the recurring challenges in your life and the cycles and the patterns that keep repeating, if you take the time to look at it and just take personal responsibility for showing up differently and aligning to your values and your principles, you will find much faster progress than continuing to study. You need to get into the messy process of making new choices in your life. And that was one of the biggest lessons that I needed to learn in working with my coach, who absolutely kicks my ass and has challenged me for basically the last year and a half. Sometimes the challenge is stop trying to figure out what to do and go do what you want to do. And sometimes, that's meant that, for whatever reason, I felt called like I needed to go ride my bike. I felt called like I needed to go take a vacation to Mexico. I felt like I needed to make a baby. It's like your desires are holy and they point you to where you're being led. The real question is, why don't you trust what you want? If you're going to heal anything, go heal that. Allow life to teach you, because it's like an acorn seed, or a little acorn will eventually become a giant tree if you water it. But does the tree go and take notes from other trees about how to be? No. It's like your thriving is written in you. And if you take the time to be with yourself, you are the modality. You can move beyond your modalities and into a steadiness and a way of being that is constant when you can touch down inside yourself and find the truth. And it might sound woo, or it might sound intangible, but as a possibility, the need for perfection is a part of what gets in the way of getting into the messy and the intangible. And what you find when you look there, when you look at your nature, when you look at your desires, when you uncover your values, when you uncover the principles of your life that lead to the best living, you will find the career that is meant for you. You will find the partner that is meant for you. You will find an inner peace that you cannot get from outsourcing it to God or Jesus, or to the next astrological reading, or to when the stars finally align and you could finally make a move. You have the ability to be able to make moves whenever you want. And that is real power. Listen, what I've created this year is what I call beyond success. It was taking what I've already created through my career, but then adding in the missing components that I knew were meant to be by my side as I was growing into these next levels of success. This meant really focusing on deepening into my relationships and becoming the woman who was the match for my mate. This also meant finding out, what does abundance really look like in my life? How do I create a life that feels worth it, where I don't just feel slave to my work, but I have a life that I'm fully getting to enjoy, that sustains me, that fuels me? And how do I take my work to the next level and do the work that I'm really here to do instead of what I think is going to pay the bills? This is what I've done in my life, and it's also what I've helped my clients do in their lives. And so if you know that you've been looking to work with somebody on something more than just sales or more than just business, and you want to work on these fulfillment aspects of your life, of working with a higher end client, bringing your work to the next level, creating a life that feels deeply fulfilling and rich for you, I have something for you. So we're doing these Beyond Success calls. They are 45-minute calls that are by application only with me. Basically what you do is you're going to reach out to me on Instagram, if you feel the pull to potentially work with me and to explore this, DM me the word application so I know that you want the application. You're going to fill out the application. I'm going to read through the application, and if I know that I have a clear picture of where you're being called next in your life and in your work, and if I know that I can support you, I will reach out to you and I will provide you with my calendar link so that we can get you scheduled. Then we're going to talk on the phone for somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes. And we're going to get present to whatever has been coming up for you lately as a starting point. And we're going to get super, super clear on where it is that you're being called next in your life and in your work. I'm going to tell you what I think about you. I'm going to tell you where I think that you have limits in place and what is actually possible for you in your life and in your work. And then if you like it and you want to talk further about what it would look like to work together, whether individually or in a group or in person, then we can talk about that. And if you don't, then you can just take what you received, no strings attached, go do whatever you want with it. So I'm really excited about these. So if you feel the call to explore what it looks like to build on the success that you've already created and move beyond that into creating the life and the work that truly feels worth it, these are for you. Reach out to me on Instagram, DM me the word application, and I will send it to you so that you can fill it out, and I will review those sometime this week. Okay? I want to wrap up here, and I want to leave you with, am I allowing room to actually hear myself, to actually hear where I'm being called next, to actually uncover who I am today, to no longer be defined by how it has been. Because I don't care who you have been. When you come and spend time with me, we're going to find out who you are now. And yes, I honor your history. Yes, I honor your past wounding. Yes, it matters. And you also have the ability to move in any direction that you want now. And I stand for your personal power to be able to do that, because it is your God-given right to be able to co-create the desires in your heart, because what you truly, truly desire that comes from a place of love and not fear is meant to be realized. But you have to realize, when am I operating from love versus fear? And when I'm operating from fear, do I turn towards looking for answers outside of myself? What my husband has to say, what the church has to say, what my human design says that I should be doing? Or do I turn towards myself with love and respect and trusting myself and my own voice to be able to lead me where I'm being called? You have to get really, really clear about what voices you're allowing to penetrate your psyche and to lead these next steps. Just because it worked for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You are your own unique design, and you are here to flourish. And the fastest way to do that is to learn how to uncover yourself, uncover your patterns, uncover your desires, uncover what does this next level of success look like for you? What does it look like for you to move beyond where you have been and into a brand new realm of possibility and potential? I have seen it in every one of my clients that I've worked with, where usually we spend like the first 3 months clearing out and decluttering everything that you think that you are, everything that you think you should be, all the ways that you've been judging yourself, and you get into the purity of who you actually are and what you actually want. Then we start cooking with gas and actually creating like who you're really here to be and what you really want, and creating a life that feels truly fulfilling, where you can always return to yourself to find the answers. And that can also include a relationship with God, with spirit, with universe, however you see it spiritually, but where we are not slave to our modalities. These modalities are tools. And if you are in service to other people, what you're going to find is when you move beyond your modality is actually going to become even more useful. I still point my clients to meditation, journaling. Hey, do this daily mindset journal. Absolutely. Hey, check out this scripture. Hey, human design. I'm a 6'2" emotional authority. So 6'2" is a role model, which is what I do. And emotional authority means I have big feelings and I need to wait for the neutral point until I make a decision. I've also found that to be helpful. But then once I gather that tool, I use it and I come back to myself, right? So again, we're not knocking the tool or the modality, but we are saying you don't need to heal more in order to do what you actually want. You can do what you actually want and heal in the process. And I can show you how. I will leave you with that. Don't forget the Beyond Success calls are available for you guys. You can reach out to me on Instagram and DM me the word application so I can send it to you. I have time for a few more of those next week. Okay. And I'll see you on the next episode. Hi, lovely. Really quick before you go, it would mean the absolute world to me if you found value in today's episode, if you would take a minute to leave a 5-star review for the podcast. This is going to help other powerhouses like you to be able to find it. Also, I love interacting with my listeners, so I would love to know more about what you thought about today's episode. If you take a screenshot and share it to your Instagram stories and tag at Megan W. Taylor, it's going to notify me, and I actually love to reshare your posts with my audience as well. With that, thank you so much for being a listener, and I'm wishing you a beautiful, productive, happy, sexy, lucrative week, and I will see you on the next episode.